Oh no, that's...
While it might seem that most of the information from the world of Severance has been explored based on the details in the latest episode, a lot has been left unexplored. Mark's reintegration, Mark and Helly finding the weird Scotland in the middle of Lumon, and Dylan's meeting his wife might feel like the season's biggest details, but you can't forget that Irving made a rather interesting discovery in the episode, visiting an old place inside Lumon. While it might be intriguing for Irv's Innie and Outie, there's a chance that it might hold some information about Miss Casey too. Let's look at what the paintings Irv's Outie made are of, and if it's the exports hall according to the latest episode of Severance. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
That's something else. That's nothing.
Irving's paintings. Irving's character has a lot of mystery surrounding him, considering there's not much to explore regarding the major details we've gotten from him since Season 1, Episode 9. But this season, the series did manage to focus on the hallway paintings that his Outie had been painting for a while now, while each of the severed employees of the MDR had been reeling from their experiences in the lives of their Outie. Irving's story has been kept at bay, and majorly marked in association with Bert's arc. Now that the entire team is back at MDR, we're also getting a chance to focus on the individual arcs. Mark teamed up with Helly in the 3rd episode to look for Miss Casey and went to the goat place, which turned into a crazy adventure. Meanwhile, Dylan, who had been informed about the possibility of him getting a chance to meet his Outie's wife, stayed away from this mission and ended up getting the reward of meeting her. Even though Irv was assigned a particular mission to follow up on looking for Miss Casey in other divisions and spread the flyers with her sketch, he had some other plans of his own. He had managed to sketch the hallway he saw at his Outie's place when he was outside, and he wanted to look for his hallway at Lumon. It's interesting how there's a chance that, just like Mark, he might be aligning his objectives with his Outie, as the multiple paintings of the hallways at his Outie's place almost felt like his Outie was desperately seeking that location. But this season isn't the first time this hallway has popped up, and it's been associated with Irv. In the first season, there were several moments where he ended up thinking about black paint dripping from the ceiling and covering his desk. The black paint might be similar to the one he saw his Outie had used for making the hallway paintings. Similarly, his Outie gets a vision of a hallway lit by a single red light, the one that he paints. So while his colleague Mark tried to burn his message into his retina to send it across to his Innie and failed to do so, Irv might just be a case of an individual who managed to have memory leaks from his Outie to the severed self. The painting is confirmed as a real location. Now all Irving needed as a success for his Outie, and find that he was onto something, was a confirmation that the location in the painting is a real location at Lumon. While spreading the flyers of Miss Casey at the O&D department, he ended up running into Felicia, Bert's old colleague. The two shared a heartfelt moment, considering Irv had become a regular here before Bert retired. Felicia shared how clear it was that Bert had feelings for Irv, which did soothe Irv's pain upon finding that Bert's Outie was already in a relationship with another man. At some point in their interaction, Bert showed Felicia the multiple sketches of Bert that he had done in his sketchbook. Felicia goes through the pages with multiple sketches of Bert and accidentally flips to the page where he sketched the hallway from the paintings of his Outie. Felicia instantly reacts and asks him, "How do you know about the exports hall?" Now Irv wanted to cover it up, but instead she told him that they used to send a lot of shipments there, but now there's a guy who's sent through. Finding out that it's a real place, Irv asks her if she remembers where it is. Even though Felicia doesn't respond right away, it becomes clear that she does know where it is, and thus Irving has a major lead into the case that his Outie is also looking into. But it might not only be a lead into Irv's Outie's case, but also what happened to Miss Casey.
How do you know about the exports hall?
What is the Exports Hall? While we aren't entirely certain of the purpose of this location inside Lumon or what it means for Irving or Miss Casey, certain details hinted at earlier in the series give us some idea of what it could be for. When Miss Casey was fired from Lumon, Kobold asked her to be sent to a place called the testing floor, and Milchick ended up escorting Miss Casey to a certain hallway that seemed somewhat similar to the hallway that Irv had been painting. The hall was long, with a dark corridor and an elevator at the end. As for the red light, when Miss Casey enters the lift, a single red light blinks right above the doors. Now, if we go into the design for the various hallways at Lumon, we can be sure that most of the hallways here look somewhat similar, and there might just be a variety of such hallways. But in this particular workspace, some places do stick out as some place with a weird sense to them. I'm not even talking about the mammalian nurturable, but other places at Lumon had a sense of something bizarre attached to them. Plus, Felicia did identify the hallway right away, making us wonder about the significance of this particular location. Felicia didn't get a strong answer about it, but it's clear that this place has an important role, and Felicia Alicia might start suspecting Irv's true motives. Something that we've definitely become sure about ever since the series started is that you can't trust anyone at Lumon, but there's a chance that Bert's Outie, who had been looking over at Irv, might be able to get the right answers to Bert. Finally, we might get a chance to review all the details we found at Irv's place that was never really addressed, ranging from his father's photo to a newspaper cutting about someone suing Lumon after being injured at work. Plus, the map where he had traced out the addresses of people who might be the severed employees might be a bigger answer to all of this. Is Irv's Outie trying to get all the severed employees together to work on something bigger against Lumon, or is he just a spy sent into Lumon? And does the exports hall have some dark purpose that can once again prove Lumon is more than just a bizarre company?
We send a lot of shipments there. Used to go ourselves.
The Exports Hall fan theory. People have no idea what the Exports Hall could be for, but that doesn't stop us from theorizing what it could be for and linking it to another major arc from the series. Based on what we've seen so far, it's quite clear that the hallway we saw in the paintings and the sketch is the one through which Ms. Casey was sent for the testing floor. If we consider the terms exporting and refining, they're particularly associated with data. Now, exporting data particularly means putting it in another place for further analysis, or even just putting it through after the data has been successfully made into something solid that can be used. The people at MDR are working at refining data, and even though we're not really told what this data is, there's a chance that the data is associated with the chips that have been put into the brains of the severed individuals. Once the severed individual's chip is acquired, it's sent through the exports hall, where the data for the chip is exported, and the MDR refines this data for Lumon. That would explain why Mark is working on the Cold Harbor file, and is associated with Ms. Casey. There's a clear chance he's refining the data from Ms. Casey, so they can use her for some other purpose, or just update her severed persona.
Oh no, that's not Bert. That's something else. That's just a...
Marvelous verdict. There are a lot of details that are never really touched upon again in the series, and I believe that's all just food for the viewers to think about. Maybe we'll see the purpose behind these particular scenes later when the series goes much further ahead. But one thing is clear, there's something set to happen this season that we mightn't have even expected, because Mark being reintegrated is one of the big events that's already been covered. Is it going to be about Ms. Casey or Gemma being discovered, and the true purpose behind all the work these severed employees are doing being revealed finally? Only time will tell. What do you think might be the big secret behind the hallway and the door with the red light on top? If you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.